Hello everyone, welcome back to another video slash podcast today. I'm going to be talking about the second round of Season 3 of the PRA ACC League. Before we hop into the race, I would like to mention, if you did not hear at the beginning of my last stream for this race or said round, I was able to not really be promoted, but I was able to step up into the position of quote unquote a commissioner, like a commissioner of the ACC series. The original guy, you may know him from some of my videos. His name is Trismo. He had to step down. I'm not 100% sure why. I think just some life events pretty much came up, and obviously life is more important than a silly little video game series. So I hope he's doing his best. I hope he is having a good life so far. Like he just got born, but hopefully he's going. Let me restart. Hopefully everything is going well in his personal life, and hopefully he will be back soon, if ever. But with him departing from PRA and stepping away from the ACC series, the series was on the verge of pretty much being shut down. But I wanted to take the challenge on of, running the series and seeing if I could possibly make it or improve upon what he was wanting to do. So as of right now, I am pretty much in charge of that series that I am also competing in. I'm very happy for the opportunity. I'm very excited for it. Definitely going to be different. But with the first round already in the books, everything was kind of already planned out ahead of time. So I kind of had the easy job of just making sure I knew how like the ACC servers worked and settings, all that. So yeah, so pretty much just a recap of it. I am in charge of it, and hopefully I'm able to bring more attention into it, and we are able to achieve some higher numbered lobbies, which brings me into a talking point of round 2 of season 3. If you did not, or if you missed my stream or have not watched the VOD of the stream, there was only 3 people in this round, and it was definitely kind of a, I don't want to say a culture shock, but it was definitely something that didn't really sit well with me. At the beginning of the season, we had 19 people sign up, I believe, and we have over 60 people in like the Discord alone, and only having 3 people show up for the race is kind of not good. But you also have to take into account, which I've also talked to some other people through Discord that are associated with PRA and running other series within PRA, that typically summer is usually the slower part of kind of the whole PRA family. With it being a lot nicer out with weather, and then kids being out of school for the summer. Most people that would typically join the races and compete are busy with, set things, with kids, family, being outside, enjoying the nice weather while we have it, and so on and so forth. So I'm not really too upset about it as of right now, but when it comes closer to like fall/winter time, and we still only have like 3 to 4 people in the races, that's when things kind of would get a little upsetting, to where I need to possibly see what I can do to improve people coming and wanting to compete. But that is still further down the road, so I'm not really worried about that as of right now. We still have a season set. We still have at least a few people coming by to wanting to, race and, compete. So we still got that going. But yeah, jumping into round 2, it was around Zolder, I believe is how you pronounce it, and GT4 cars. Pretty big gap between round 1 and round 2. Probably, I think it was like a 3-week gap, so had a lot of time to practice and get the setup exactly where I want it, as well as, qualifying time and race pace and pit stop information, pretty much all the preparation. So yeah, it came down to qualifying. Pretty easy qualifying. I ended up qualifying on pole by, I don't remember the exact amount off the top of my head, but I want to say it was around like a 1-second gap between me and second place. So pretty good on that end. And then jumping into the race, it was a pretty lackluster race, honestly. I mean, there was so within the first, I want to say like 10, 15 minutes of the race, I was in the lead, and the guy in second place, Millie, he was keeping me pretty honest. He was keeping up with me. I wasn't pushing flat out because I was kind of just wanting to ease my tires into the stint and so on and so forth. But he was pushing me so hard to where I made a pretty big mistake and pretty much dropped down well over, I want to say like 20 to 30 seconds behind him. And I had to claw that time back pretty fast, because at this time we had about 45 minutes left in the race. Granted, there was still a pit stop that we needed to come in for, a mandatory pit stop. But from here on, I was pretty much pushing every single lap, and I was closing the gap pretty fast. And then I was able to catch up to him. I sat behind him a few laps, just wanting to, feel, because it really wasn't a whole lot of rush, because I wasn't getting pressured from behind. I was just, it's kind of just me and him, because the guy in third place was making a decent amount of mistakes, which it's understandable. The track can be very tricky. But yeah, sat behind Millie for, I want to say a good like 3 or 4 laps, just trying to see where I could possibly make an overtake and so on and so forth. And I was actually able to make that said overtake into, I want to say, turn 1 to turn 2, because Millie got a bad exit out of the final corner, or final like chicane, which gave me the opportunity to, come up alongside him into turn 1, swoop around the outside and hold on to the position. And then from that point on, it was a pretty, decent race. Came into the pits, didn't get a speeding penalty or anything like that, which very happy about, which I have been known to ruin a race or two for simple mistakes like that. And I was able to build a gap of over 20 seconds, I want to say, to me and to Millie, which is pretty good over a short period of time, which at this time it was probably, I want to say like half an hour left in the race. So within 15 to 20 minutes, I was able to build a 20-second gap, which is pretty good. But then, for some reason, I wasn't supposed to win that race. And what I mean by that is, within the last 10 minutes of the race, my game crashed. And, you could see it in the stream as well as the VOD of the stream, because it's in 2 parts. My game crashed altogether, so where, the stream crashed as well, and so on and so forth, because I do stream on PS5, and if you're not on a game, the stream's like, okay, well, you're done. But yeah, with 10 minutes left, the game just crashed. And when I was able to rejoin the race, but I was like 4 laps down right in the race. So I had the pace to win that race. I mean, if I didn't make any mistakes, I was clearly going to win the race. But fate decided that I wasn't. So I just, yeah, like I said, the game crashed, and Millie came across the line to win the race. You know, he made a few mistakes here and there, which, I mean, I made mistakes as well, but, you know, he was very consistent. He was, you know, decently fast, and he deserved that race win. You know, I'm just upset that my game pretty much just let me down. But some other positives to take away from the race. I did finish the race with the fastest lap, and that said fastest lap was the fastest I have ran around that track through all of practice simulations, all of qualifying simulations, all of race simulations, out of everything, all the preparation. I had the fastest lap through everything, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a pretty decent lap. Yeah, like I said, the fastest I've ever run on the track in the GT4, so definitely found more time throughout the race than I was expecting, honestly. But yeah, came home in P2, still 4 laps down, with the fastest lap on pole position as well. That's pretty much it. Like I said, it was pretty lackluster because, you know, we only had 3 people in the race, as well as one of the guys. He was making a joke. He was like, I'm just trying to get as many stop-go penalties as possible because he kept speeding in the pit lane a little too much. But yeah, I mean, other than that, the first opening laps, you know, like I said, Millie kept me honest. He was keeping up with me, which I was honestly surprised by. So much to where, like, I made a mistake, and then I was like, okay, well, now I have to claw all this time back, which I was able to. And I think that's another very big positive to take away from this race is, you know, within a pretty decently short amount of time, like I said, probably like 15, 20 minutes, I was able to claw back 20-ish seconds and make a pass for the lead. So there's that. Yeah, I definitely had the outright pace that I mean, more pace than I was even really wanting, or not even wanting, but expecting. And yeah, I wish there was more to the race that I could elaborate on, but yeah, like I said, that was pretty much it. Yeah, like I said, it was just pretty. I don't want to say relaxing because I was pushing every lap to catch back up, but after I was able to pass Millie for the lead, I pretty much, well, I checked out, but I wasn't really pushing every single lap. I was just, managing my tire wear because for me, typically after putting on the tires, around like 25 minutes after putting on the tires, I could definitely start feeling some tire wear, and I was just, trying to eke out that performance as much as possible through my final stint until, obviously my game crashed, and which sucks, by the way, because that's another win that slips through my fingers. I mean, granted, no fault of my own. It's kind of, I guess you can kind of look at it as like an engine failure in real life. I had the pace. I had, everything was going my way. Obviously, despite the major mistake to where I spun out and lost all that time, I was able to claw back that time. I had, better pace than I was expecting, but yet the car, quote unquote, or I'll just say the car, but aka the game, let me down to where I wasn't able to achieve that win. But yeah, congratulations to Millie. It was his first win in a PRA event ever, which is honestly surprising because he was in PRA longer than I've been, and I thought he's won a few races here and there over the number of series in PRA, but because he was even in like GT7, he was always pretty close or within the top 5 of, the whole race and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, huge congratulations to Millie. Definitely deserves that win. He kept it on the track. He kept it out of the barrier. So, there's just times where that's all you need to do, and the win's going to come your way. But I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to touch upon. But yeah, like I said earlier, I am in charge of this series now, and I am hoping to make some pretty decently, or hoping to bring some more drivers in. But yeah, like I said, with it being nicer out, I'm not expecting, 30 people every week. So, but I do have a season schedule already, set up for for next season. And I'm thinking about only taking probably like a week or two gap between the end of this season to next season. That way, we can keep the interest going and so on and so forth. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have anything else to comment on the race. I just wish there was more people, which, it is what it is. At least there are some people that are wanting to race week in and week out. But, it would always be a little bit nicer to have more than 3 people. But yeah, it is what it is. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast, I guess, since there wasn't a whole lot that happened during the race and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy, and hopefully, I'm able to bounce back next week, or I guess next round, which is, as of recording, tomorrow. We're going to be going around Barcelona in GT3s, which that track has never been my favorite. I've never really been able to click with it. And, yeah. So, yeah, we will definitely look out for that stream and VOD and then race review. And, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.